Monogam-ish Podcast contains content intended for mature audiences. The views expressed here are for entertainment purposes only. Please enjoy the show.
So when you say pain, when you say pain, like, what do you like? Is it like the tying up? Is it
It's
the,
it's
spankings?
spanking, it's the marks, it's
all of it.
the fighting.
All of it.
The fighting.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay. Hell yeah. I like
It's gotten to the point where that Dom side of me comes out. And
Okay.
it's good to have her there because I'll tell her straight up, I want you to grab those restraint and pull as hard as you can and don't let her move.
Hi-ishes! Just got done finishing probably one of my favorite episodes ever.
Yeah?
I know.
It was a long conversation, but
Oh man, the chemistry.
Yes.
Oh my
just
God.
The communication, the respect that they all have for each other is
Right.
out of this world.
And-
Out of this world.
and the love. I mean, like
Yes.
I said, you guys will see it in the episode. There's a point where the girls are looking at each other and you can just so feel the love that they have for each other. And they've built a beautiful family. Like, they're amazing. And honestly, we touched on it last episode where I talked about my upbringing and how I got involved in the lifestyle and how I originally knew about it was, from a very young age. But I didn't have that type of communication that they have with their children.
Yes.
Right?
And I think that's so key because for a kid to understand that it doesn't have to be black and white. There doesn't have to be, the straight husband and wife and we stay together and we're married, for 40 plus years and no other partners. And
Right.
it's okay if it's like that. But that's not the only way that it works.
Right.
Yeah, there are options
Right.
to relationships, and it doesn't have to just be a one-on-one thing.
Right.
It could be a one-on everyone thing.
And they navigate it so well. The amount of communication within the three of them, in terms of everything from the kids that they have currently to having kids in the future.
Yeah, that's what really got me going. Like, whoa, because
They've talked about everything. And they made sure that, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. We're going to consider everybody's feelings. We're going to consider what this means, because there's just a huge age difference. 15 years is a significant age difference.
that's almost a generation right there.
Right. And then to come into a marriage that's 10 years old. And so they do it better than anybody that I've seen to this point.
This is the prime example of what you want to see from a throuple.
It
That's right.
really
That's
is.
right.
Like, if there were more throuples like this, I think you'd have a lot more happier people, personally.
Oh, 100%.
Yes, and a lot more, open to different types of relationships.
Yeah.
Right.
If they could find somebody else like this or another couple like this,
Right.
Oh,
So-
man, right on.
This is a show that you guys definitely will not want to miss. So grab some popcorn, grab some wine, grab some weed, grab whatever floats your boat, and sit down, join your partner, and listen to a great conversation. And once you're done, make sure you head over and check out our Patreon because their couch confessional.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
Out of this world.
Fire.
Out of this world.
It got me a little toasty. And it's, again, probably my favorite couch confessional and hands down one of my favorite episodes. So you guys check it out.
This is definitely a crowning achievement on all of our parts.
It is. It's worth the Patreon sign up. So
Yes.
definitely check it out. We'll see you guys later. Enjoy the show.
Bye, Ishes.
Bye, Ishes.
Hi, Ishes. I'm Justina.
And I'm Kenji.
And we're
Monogam-ish.
Welcome back to another great show.
I know. Today we have some amazing people. Amazing people. Finally met you guys.
Yes. Well, we've seen you before at a party one time, but we hadn't actually gotten a chance to talk.
Right.
And you guys reached out to us to be on the show, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for the
Appreciate that,
opportunity. We
guys.
love it.
Hell yeah.
So this can be easy today.
I know. So
we
please.
have Ray, and Lay.
Okay.
So welcome, you guys.
And you guys are a throuple living together?
We live together, actually.
So you're a nesting
amazing.
throuple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's weird because we were actually talking about that. A lot of people put labels on things, and we
Right.
never see as like a label on it per se. So we just know that we love each other, and I mean, we live in the same house, we sleep in the same bed. So yeah.
Yeah.
So let's have each one of you first start. Tell us, a little bit about yourself, and including your sexuality, and then how you guys are related to each other.
Okay. Well, I'm actually. This is my wife. We've been married for 10 years, and I classify as a straight male.
Okay.
I've been in scenarios where there's been, things other than straight around me. I'm totally comfortable with that, so that doesn't bother me at all. And we started out in the lifestyle about 10 years ago. So,
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
so,
yeah.
And you right at the
a
beginning
lifestyle.
of your marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you were a lifestyle.
So it's funny that she says that because it's true. So I grew up in a very traditional household. So, it was always, you have to be a one woman kind of guy. And this is how things are. You marry and you honor and all that stuff, which is great in every sense of the word. But I just really love women. And
I'm a lesbian too, bro.
I've been a lesbian since all my life. I've been the biggest lesbian you'll ever know. But, it's weird because I always find myself very attracted to women, and I might have a woman with me, but at the same time, it's like there'll be scenarios where I'm just like, hey, hello, and it happens, and I just didn't feel comfortable in that. So when I met her, I recently got out of a bad relationship with my ex, and she was messing around on me behind my back too. And it's like,
son of a bitch.
If we would have just talked about this, it might have actually worked out. But nobody talked about it, so I decided to be incredibly brutally honest with her, and then turns out she's on the same page. And
hell yeah.
here we are.
So Ray, were you always non-monogamous, or?
So I had a kid young. So I was like, I don't need a guy. I got a kid. I got to focus. I don't need So for me, it was just about getting what I needed. So there's plenty of times where, I tried relationships and you just have those, that's not right. It's not right. So I had decided I don't really need something committed. So as long as you respect me and I respect you, and if you do something, you tell me, and I do something, I tell you, that way we both have, respect for each other to make the decision if we want to still be apart. Like, doing all the town of Wyoming, then I need to know, like, that's not something I want to get into. So you may have to take a test or something. But, I was like, if we just keep this, just friends, like, hey, I get mine, you get yours, and friends with benefits or whatever, because I didn't know about the lifestyle per se, but we would, it's kind of awkward to just be like, I drove here, let's get it on and let's go. Right. So like, we'd be like, we go to dinner or something, and like, he'd catch me because I'd be like, and he's like, did you just look at her? And I was like, yes. That's okay, right? He's like, I did. I was like, I saw you. You're not mad at me? And I was like, no. And then it kind of became a competition. Like, who saw her first? Like, who got the better picture angle? So I was like, okay, he's different. Like, he's not going to judge me because I wasn't checking out men. Like, honestly, if we're being realistic, he's probably the one guy that I've been sexually attracted to.
Really? Wow.
I am more
attracted to women.
So you have been my whole life.
So do you consider yourself bisexual?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, because I'll play all day. But as far as making a commitment to you, there's only one. But I mean, as far as women, I've just always thought women were beautiful. And in other relationships, like, they find that, I don't know, like, as a threat or something, for me to check out a girl. And then, well, I can't. I didn't say you couldn't. Like, just don't be dumb about it. Right. That's all I'm asking. Be honest and communicate. But apparently that's very difficult for some people. So
he changed everything.
Everything.
And you decided to get married.
Well, if we're being realistic, I tried to break it off. I was like,
she really did.
Real.
She really did.
Oh, it's not real. Like, you can't find somebody that's that understanding, that accepts you, that will go to places like this with, like, that's not real.
Because you guys were open from the beginning. Like, even before you got married, you were in the lifestyle and attending events and going to parties and clubs.
Like, that was literally our thing. Like, hey, let's go to Mon Chalet. Hey, let's go to Sugar House. Like,
wow, right when you guys hooked up.
Yeah, like, that was where we would go to have, our time together, because he lived, an hour and a half away. So we had to carve out time to, to hang out. So I literally was like, it's not real. There's no way you can find somebody that checks all these boxes. So I was like, all right, peace, I'm out. And he's like, why? And there's like a whole romantic story to it, to the chase. And he was like, no, what if I want to try too? And I was like, but we both said that this was just like, it was just about fun. It was just getting mine and you getting yours. And he was like, well, would it be so bad to see where this goes? And it was like at that point that we were like, okay, so we're actually going to try like on a relationship basis. And things were just easy. Because there was nothing to hide.
Yeah.
This is why I love doing this show, because
you meet.
Usually I say when you get into the lifestyle, you need to meet each other. You need to build that relationship. You need to have a foundation. You need to make sure that trust is there and that you guys are on the same page and you've had all those important conversations, and then try the lifestyle. And everybody goes on a different timeline, but not going
full head on.
Right.
We went 0 to 60 so fast.
Yeah.
And now, mind you, we did have one rule. We weren't going to fall in love with each other because it was just a friends with benefit scenario. And
that never fucking happens.
Broke the rule. She broke the rule. We had a whole notebook moment with the rain and everything. But But back to your story, though, what you're saying. It's so on point, because we believe in building a foundation for the relationship, and that's how this became about.
Right.
Because she came in at a time with us when we were doing a lot of self-growth. And we came out of a relationship that we were kind of like, do we need a third? How's this going? And it turned out to be a bad scenario. And we had a bad taste in our mouth, but it set us up for a wonderful relationship. And I'm in a position where I'm like, if you would have asked me 20 years ago if I could love two women exactly the same, I would have been like, yeah, okay.
That's too complicated.
Really?
Two women at the same
I
time?
don't see it. To me, it's a level playing field.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
She's amazing, and she's amazing, and I'm just a lucky guy.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Fucking A. So fucking lucky.
So, Ray, tell us about you.
So I am bisexual, and I got into the lifestyle actually meeting them.
Okay.
Really?
Yep. So I was in a lot of traditional relationships that didn't work out, and I knew a little bit about the lifestyle, but I never asked questions about it. I'm like, oh no, my traditional upbringing was like, I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to
talk about that.
Yes, you don't say anything. So I didn't ask. Then I had a roommate, my best friend actually. She was into the lifestyle, and she started to get into it with none other than his best friend.
Oh, okay.
That's how we met her.
Okay.
So
in a vanilla setting, you guys met?
actually, at a
Very vanilla
karaoke
setting.
bar.
At a karaoke bar. Okay.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, the first thing he
hilarious.
said to me
You
was,
still go to those places?
yes,
We do.
actually, even now we do.
Wednesdays, Fridays.
Wednesday, Friday.
Hell yeah.
Yep, that's the thing. So yes, I did meet them in a bar, and it was like, he's talking to me, and he told me he has a wife.
Right?
And she's sitting right there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you, because that's how I am. I like other people's vibes. If I connect with you on a level, I'm gonna talk to you. If I don't, then I'm not gonna be super rude about it. But it's like, I don't wanna. I don't know why. I just can't connect that way with certain people. So for him, and being as honest as they were, was like mind blowing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
super
what?
refreshing, right?
Right. I'm like, wait, this exists in this world? I had to move all the way to Colorado to find something like this.
Wow. So how long ago did you meet them?
Well, we met end of June. I know the exact date, but so at the end of June, yes,
Okay.
we met, and then we actually went on our first date.
Oh, really?
The next day.
Yeah. So once we did meet, and it was so great because, like she said, we were brutally honest right up front, which it comes to the whole creating a good foundation for things. I want to be honest about everything, and I do have a wife. She's a wonderful person. You should get to meet her, and you might find the same thing I find. So I asked my wife if it was okay if I took her on a date, and she was like, yeah. Go ahead. Take her on a date.
So was this the first time, like, had you guys discussed polyamory? Because being in the lifestyle and being swingers is way different. And sometimes the lines cross and sometimes they don't. For a lot of swingers, we've noticed is they get in that swinger mindset where this is just, just sexual, just physical.
Right.
And then I'm moving on. And so how did that mindset change to where then you guys were discussing, or did you ever discuss polyamory before you met her?
I think it just kind of developed. So like he mentioned briefly, we had a small little thing before we met her. That kind of was like, it's funny because he was like, hey, look at her. And I was like, she's not your type. He's like, come on, it'll be fun. And I was like, okay, whatever. So he started talking to this girl and I'm like, she's not your type. But, you know, like he said, he doesn't have a type when he's just trying to have fun. So, you know, we've regularly, you know, had this open thing of, you know, as long as you communicate with me, go have fun. Like, I'm not going to get upset. Like, just because I'm not going out and chasing guys doesn't mean that I don't want you to go chase girls. Like, I love the fact that you're attracted to women. I'm attracted to women. Just please bring me some, you know, stuff to look at later because I think it's hot. Like, that's our rule, right? So COVID happened and they were talking. And so one thing kind of led to another with everything shutting down and quarantine. And so out of circumstance, she was living at the house with us for a brief period of time. And it was one of those like eye-opening experiences of, yeah, it's nice to have somebody here, but everybody has their own little things. And so
it's hard to live with somebody.
It is very hard. And so after that, with like, okay, we can't have this. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. Like, you kind of start making a list. You know? And then as that kind of fizzled out and she moved on and we sat down and we were like, okay, so that clearly didn't work. Like,
so were you guys dating her together and separately, or how was that?
So it was weird because it was like, she wasn't bisexual.
Okay.
What?
And she tried a little bit to see if she was into it, but she wasn't. So she was more or less dating me.
Yeah.
And it and to me, it opened up a lot of self-awareness per se, of what if this was to be a relationship, if we were to get somebody in here, what are some of the things that need to be in there? And my wife is a very beautiful woman and
gorgeous.
And she's a very beautiful person on top of that. So, I mean, to me, one of those boxes was, yeah, you need to be bisexual.
Well, and it wasn't a game changer though, because like, it's not just about me, right? You know what I mean? Like, if she was fulfilling stuff for him, then you know, like, hey, let's work
respecting
through this.
her.
Yeah. But she, I don't know, it was like more like a sister. Like, she wanted me to interact with her and treat her like a sister, but then you want to really?
Yeah.
Like, So it was one of those things, that we kind of just, and individually kind of made checklists, you know, because we didn't want to sabotage something if it could become something, you know, sometimes you give time and water and things grow into something else, right? So when it fizzled off and we all went our own, you know, directions, he and I did come back together and say, okay, well, it wasn't awful, but there are some like hard no's.
Yeah,
like, if we're gonna even look at this, there are some hard no's. And we were very like, not right now. Let's focus on us. Like, we're in a good place. We're just gonna go to events and have fun and just do things.
So what were some of those obstacles? What were some of those hard no's?
Well, we have children.
Okay.
And parenting becomes hard when there is an outside opinion of what you believe is right, but they don't believe it's right. That could be a hard no.
And, well, and mind you, it's one thing if it's right and wrong, right? Like, if you have two different opinions. It's the other thing if you try to rediscipline my child with yours after my child has been disciplined. That's the thing.
Right.
It's like, we respect that everybody has different upbringings and different, you know, like you have different rules. I'm going to respect that. But I'm not going to go behind you and rediscipline your child because I think what you did was wrong. And that was one of the things we ran into, is she would constantly contradict what one of us, when it came to our family, was
how is she stepping on toes? That's so weird. That's so weird.
It was like I said, it was such an eye-opening experience for us. And I'm not saying that it was all 100% bad, but if we didn't go through that, we wouldn't have known exactly where we want to be at.
Yeah, you have to make the mistakes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Experience is the best teacher.
Right.
Yeah. And so, bam. This is what you got.
It's so funny that when we met her, because it was probably probably like 4 months, and we were both like, no, it's cool, let's just go to events, let's have fun. And we were going to a lot, we were experiencing a lot of things because we didn't have that other person that wasn't in the lifestyle, because we had kind of stepped away because she wasn't, bisexual. So we had, out of respect, stepped away from the things that we had previously been doing. And so now we're like full blown in. Like, we're just going to go meet people. We're just going to have fun. Like, that didn't work out.
And that never works. If you have to change your lifestyle to conform to somebody else, that relationship is not going to
So we have this little list of, this is a no, this is a hard no, this is a hard no, this, okay, these are the things that we definitely need. Like, one of his things was, she has to be attracted to you. Like, it just has to be a thing. I'm not going to be in it as a man if I'm enjoying myself and you're not. It's not going to work for the three of us.
Right there. I'm right there with you. I'm like, come on now. We're doing this together. Like, come on now.
Yeah, as a man, I have a voyeuristic side. So, I
watch a lot.
Sometimes I don't mind standing back and go right ahead and let me watch it. Let me take this in.
We're so fucking different. See, I'm a Gemini. I got to get my fucking hands in it. I am fucking in it to win it, God damn it.
But yeah, and it so it works out for me in that sense, because it gets hot.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm just like, am I really here? Am I really experiencing this? Is like,
yeah, you are.
It's solid, and where's my camera?
Like, did you see my phone? Did I charge it?
Love it. So Lay, you met him at the club, all right? Yes. And you were like, oh my gosh. Were you attracted to him both right away?
I did feel a connection for sure.
Okay.
It was simmering. But since he introduced him and his wife, I was like, I was like, is that what? Why? Why are you talking to me still? She's sitting right there. Why are you doing this?
Text me later.
Did you all start talking then and like start connecting at that night?
So at karaoke, she can't really hear well.
That's why these things are so awesome.
Yeah.
Because I could hear everybody right now. Out as a club, don't ask me a question. I'll just smile and nod at you and pretend like I know what you're saying.
She's like,
oh, shit.
So at first she wasn't talkative to me at all. And I was like, okay, I don't know how I feel about that either. Because, again, I respect marriage, no matter what it is. I love marriage because I love love. And seeing that the respect that he gave her and vice versa, it was like, okay, this is so cool. So we started talking, and I believe I brought up me being a 49er fan because we saw football playing on one of the screens, and I told him I don't really like saying who my team is out here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he was like, it's okay, why? And I was like, well, I'm a 49er fan. And then he grabbed the bottom of my chair, scooted me closer, and went.
And he leans over and he goes, she's a 49er fan. Oh my God. She's the one.
All right.
She's the one.
All right.
So from there, we just started talking, and I did feel a connection. And then he asked me if we could trade Snapchats. And I said, okay. But out of respect for their marriage, I actually went at the end of the night and asked Rachel, is it okay if I do this? And she was like,
straight for Snapchat. He wanted the naughty pics.
Look at this. Look at this.
Right here, Facebook. I don't care about knowing what you did before.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and for me,
pics.
I'm like, okay, sure, why not? But so I asked her at the end of the night if it's okay if I do this. And she was like, he's going to write you anyway. And I was like, oh, really? And then I was like, okay. So she actually approved. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. So we go back home where I was living before. And I told my best friend, I was like, okay, I have a lot of questions.
Oh, my God.
A lot of questions.
Oh, right?
Like,
because we knew her best friend.
Correct.
We had actually already met her friend through his best friend at
one of the events.
Yes. So we knew her best friend very well.
Correct.
Very well.
And so I was like, I have questions now. And she was like, okay. And I was like, this is so much fun, but I don't want to be disrespectful either. And then I'm also scared because I hadn't been in a relationship, and this is also new. So I don't know if it's wrong or not, especially with my traditional background, my parents and everything. So it was nerve-wracking, but I'm actually glad I took that leap of faith to do so.
Yeah.
Because now I've experienced a lot in 6 months.
Yeah,
so much stuff, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, we've done a lot in 6 months. I can honestly tell you that.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. It's a hell of a ride, and I don't see myself without either one of them right now.
Same.
Awesome. Same. Hell yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. So do you guys date other people then as well?
Well, that's we've talked about that, and right now at the moment we don't see a need to like go out and date other people. One thing is to meet up at a if we're at a party and you know, and things are hot and heavy. I was like, oh God, okay, dude's attractive over there, you know, and go right ahead if that's the case. But outside of that, like the actual dating part of it hasn't been a thing for me. So
you guys are now polyamorous throuple swingers.
Yes.
maybe.
That's a lot of fucking labels. That's a lot of labels.
But you can
That's
check
right.
so many boxes, and that's what also I like about this is because just because you guys are polyamorous doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be swingers.
No.
And that's like it was with your first relationship. But now you found one where you guys all feel like those boxes and those experiences need to be had, and so you cross a lot of boxes.
Well, us being in the lifestyle for so long, we learned that we like to go out to events like this and go out to the Scarlet Ranch or go to the mansion parties, and we really enjoy that. And you know, there's times where things happen and it's great. However, she's never experienced those things.
So it's a lot of firsts.
Oh hell yeah!
My first time at the ranch was the bubbles.
Foam party?
Yes, foam party.
Oh my god!
That was like, I'm nervous. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm kind of self-conscious. What am I doing? Oh my god, bubbles!
Oh my god!
So you were monogamous prior to this,
Correct.
and had you been in very many relationships?
3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're. Oh, so have you had your whole phase?
Does this count as a whole thing?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Being in the lifestyle.
Yes.
So this is your first introduction to it.
Correct.
Okay. And what's awesome about that is that you have somebody to help you navigate.
Oh my God, yes.
Right?
And
Because
knows
we
the
ask questions
spots
all the
and-
time.
Yeah.
I ask questions all the time. And then that's a big thing for us because communication is really key.
Very
Yeah,
much so.
I can see that.
Yeah, we talk before we go somewhere. We talk after we go somewhere. We make sure everybody's on the same page, regardless of what we do. And we are big advocates of communication. To me, this would never work unless we're talking out. You know what could possibly happen. What are your okays? What are your not your okays? And her and I experiment. Aside that, her and I have an experiment, and that's she's into a lot of pain. You know.
Okay.
I run away. I watch though.
Me too.
Yes.
I've enjoyed watching.
I like
She's
being
held my
spanked
hands
and
before.
like little things, but I'm not. You better put that cane away.
Why? Come on now. Just a little tap.
And so you like pain.
Yes.
And are you a sadist at any level?
So I never thought I'd be into that. I never realized I had that side to me, but she brings that side out.
Oh.
Okay.
From time to time. Now we're really in the beginning stages of it, so we're working a lot with what are our no's and what are our okays, and I'm very worried about her hurting her per se.
Hell yeah.
He smacks me and I'm the ass and I yelp and run away. So he's like,
we were talking to a gentleman the other day that he was been doing it for 10 years, and he's just like, man, people don't understand. You can really fuck somebody up doing this. Really put somebody in like the hospital, and you just have to watch out like where you tie them, where you hit them,
exactly.
And so we try that, and it's
you
like
do without instruction.
That's
Educate
right.
yourselves before you.
And I found myself doing a lot of that, a lot of reading and watching as much stuff as I can about it to educate myself about it, because the last thing I want is to hurt this.
Right.
So she pulls that side out of me, and it's fulfilling, and it gives me a certain type of release that I wouldn't be able to get just going straight into sex.
Okay.
I just met you at the club. Let's just go do something.
he's an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is.
So had you guys ever dabbled in kink prior?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So when you say like no pain, do you like not like no spanking, no tie up, no anything, nothing of that?
Yeah, I was very like, let's just have fun and touch nicely.
Like, soft,
Caress me, please.
Well,
Be super
she's the
gentle with
romantic
me.
side of me.
Dude, you can still tie up and do the nice and all that shit.
Is that how you have sex too? Is it you like it really soft
Like-
and gentle and slow and?
No, not really.
Okay.
Just don't out of nowhere smack me.
Right.
Because that'll like throw me for a loop. But again, it's also something like he said, it's not something that I ever even thought about. Because I did grow up very traditional. And so for me, it was wild just liking chicks. So I'm like, just, you know, I shouldn't like really push the line. So them having this experience between them, like, it's very intriguing to me because I'm like, you know, because she asked me, she's like, so have you ever thought about it? And I was like, no. Like, it literally was never something that, like, I mean, it wasn't my porn of choice. Like, I didn't watch BDSM. I didn't watch this. Like, there's all these lesbian women and toys. Like,
she watches the softball porn, you know, the softball locker room porn. That was what she was in.
So, like, it was just not something I literally had given thought to.
Okay.
And, you know, seeing it out and people on the ranch and stuff like that, I would just, oh, cool, you know, like, literally my mind just never entertained it. So when they had their first experience and they're sharing it with me, I'm like, this is really hot. Like,
Okay.
what are my emotions like right now? And I'm like trying to translate for myself because I do find it very entertaining and very just
Erotic and
very
all that.
erotic.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
But it's literally like I never even crossed my mind before them.
How about you? Were you always into this?
So I was. Before
Really?
I met him, yes.
Okay. Were you into this with your
but
previous partners?
No.
Did you not tell them?
No.
Really?
Correct.
How
So
come?
it was a fantasy of yours, but you had never actually played it out.
I read so much erotica books. It's not even funny. I've showed her my library time and time and time again.
That's hilarious.
That was like a major turn on for me. And then I started talking about it. And I was like, okay, well, I do feel comfortable enough in sharing this because, again, communication.
Right.
Like, and we always want to experience our fantasies together. So that was a big fantasy. And then once it started, it just snowballed. And
Oh,
I was
really?
like, I like this a lot.
Yeah.
So when you say pain, I'm sorry. When you say pain, like, what do you like? Is it like the tying up? Is it
It's the
the
tying
you know
up.
the
It's
spankings?
spanking.
All
It's the marks. It's the
all of it.
the biting.
All of it.
the biting. Everything. Yep.
Okay. Hell yeah. I like it.
It's gotten to the point where that dom side of me comes out. And it's good to have her there because I'll tell her straight up, I want you to grab those restraint and pull as hard as you can and don't let her move. You know? And at that point, you know, she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and no matter what she does, she won't let go.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing for me because in that moment, that's where I'm at. You know?
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of an experimental phase right now where we're at, and we love it. And you know, we hope to continue to keep on doing it, I guess.
There's been a few times he has read stuff and he would come and he said, did you know this? And then he would leave. And then I would look exactly at Ray and I would be like, oh my God, he's gotten that far. It's so great. I was like, oh.
That's funny. I do that to my wife too. I'm like, hey, you want to see something that I know? Watch this. Watch this. She's like, oh my God. I fucking love that shit. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It's fun. It keeps everything new and fun. And this is after, you know, years and years and years. Honestly, when we first met, we were monogamous for about the first half of our relationship, we were monogamous. And then after about the 6th year, we decided to delve into the swinger realm. But it wasn't until more recently, honestly, with COVID going on, that I really got into the kink side. And because, you know, we want to keep it spicy. You know what I mean? You don't want to just
add some tapatio to that. Yeah. Let's go.
He's like every day for 24 hours a day. 8 months. Like,
oh my God.
Something else.
I dare you to run out there naked.
Dude. We have 5 kids and shit. So they're you know, homeschooling this. And so we would have to like try to figure out like where to go and do this shit, you know,
but
or
that
like
makes it even better.
Oh my God,
it adds a heightness to it. And you're just
okay, so one of our stories is during COVID. Okay, we, you know, because we have all this big ass family, so we have this big ass car, you know, so we're like, hey, you know, it's like middle afternoon. Hey, you want to go fuck? Yeah, let's.
And we've always homeschooled our kids, so even before COVID, and so they're there, and there's not, you know. yeah, we can go up to our bedroom and they'll know what we're doing. Right.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
it's not fun all the time.
No.
It's like, we want to do something different.
let's run out to the fucking garage and we can fucking do fucking Suburban,
And I can be
right?
super loud.
Nice.
Right?
They can't hear me because
Oh my god, right?
we're
Hey,
in between doors.
hey,
Whoa.
let's get this, you know? Oh my god, we're backseat, we're all the way back. We get everything, shit's down, we're getting it, and like right before we're about to fucking come, I like give her like this really big like, bam, and she's like, we hear a pop, and she's like, oh my god. And I'm like, oh shit, as we're coming, I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, just go. I'm like, you better come. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, she stopped. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is happening? I think he broke my rib.
So he was fucking me. He hit me up against like
The seat, 'cause she
the
was
side
bent over.
where you put the cup holders. And
Oh, God.
There's like a storage unit thing there, and he hit me right up against it, just at the right angle that I heard and I felt obviously.
Oh my god.
Look at you, Trooper. You
I know.
wrote that all right.
Girl, we have so much goddamn sex stories like that. It's not even fucking
That's
funny.
amazing.
So
You know what?
my God.
After that.
Probably
The pain.
why I don't want the pain like
The
directly.
pain.
Because it always happens indirectly.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna be, if he hurts me in any way, shape, or form, it's because of something we did when we were moving furniture.
Yeah. Hey.
That's
So
awesome.
you found somebody that you can share this kink
God.
with.
Yes.
Right?
And that's coming from within. Because if you don't connect with someone on that level and you, of course, take it too far,
Oh
then
my
they
gosh.
could be up
Right.
in the hospital.
Dude.
And that's something that that's why I feel like I reserved myself until this moment, because I didn't feel that my other partners were worthy of that.
It's the trust,
Yep.
respect factor,
Correct.
all of that shit.
Yeah. And if you don't have that, especially when you're going into something that you hand your control over,
Mm-hmm.
that's an issue.
Yeah,
for sure.
It can feel really claustrophobic really quick if it's
Correct.
not the right situation.
Correct.
And even if you don't suffer from that. Like there's been times where I've been tied up and for whatever reason something snaps and I'm like, oh my God, you gotta untie me right now. And that happens and that's okay. But you try to mitigate those because you want to do it and you want to feel the pleasure and you don't want to have that fear or that claustrophobia feeling or like you're not in control and it's not safe.
Right.
And so you have to have the right partner to do that with. It definitely takes some time.
So my first time being tied up, she actually fed rope to the girl who did tie
Oh,
me up.
yeah.
Okay.
And that made it a lot more comfortable for me in being tied up because I can actually see her
Mm-hmm.
and I know my partner is there.
Right.
Even though he was there, it's just, you have that safe feeling that you need to go to, especially in that, because you are tied up. You have nowhere to go. Literally, I was tied to a chair.
Oh.
Yeah,
You know, it's funny you say that because they were there that night.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
night
that's
we
right.
met them.
that's actually right.
I don't think that we seen you tied to the
Where?
chair that night.
Yeah.
At the
At one of the
Halloween
at the
office
Halloween party.
Halloween party.
Yeah.
Oh my God. During those fucking parties, we are everywhere. Oh my God.
It's true. we
I-
bounce back.
I
and
know.
forth.
I'm like, oh, what's going on over here? What's going on over here?
Yeah, like
that
there's
was
so much
actually-
to see. That was how my first time was.
Right?
To the ranch. I was like,
Oh my God. What's this?
oh my God.
Oh my God.
I was
Oh my
like,
God.
wait, people do this out in the open? This out in the
What's
open?
this
Like,
teepee
people-
you
what?
talking about?
Fence? That's all
What?
there is.
That's
a
it?
fence.
Right?
Yeah. And
You're
it was so
laying in a
cool.
hammock naked. He's like, yes,
Yes.
I am.
Yes. Yes, I
Like,
am.
I don't know whether to be
it
scared or
feels
turned on at
great.
the
I
same
know.
time, but then it's elevating it. So I'm
Oh
like,
my
I'm
God.
going to ride this.
I know. Oh my gosh. I know. The first fucking time we went there, we were like, God, how is this going to be? You know, but we're going to walk into like an orgy or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Right, is it right
And-
in your face?
Oh my God, we walked in and it was still one of like the best nights we've ever had there. We met
Oh,
these
we did.
DJs. They were like the best fucking DJs they've ever had in their whole time there. And we danced the night off. Fucking fuck. You know, we met so
We
many
had
cool
so
people and we were
much
like,
fun.
we're doing this. Yeah, we're
This
coming
is
back
a
next
thing.
week.
We're hooked.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we became members like 5 years ago.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then every year we just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Well,
And
he says like 5 years ago, like we had a choice. We lived in Fort Collins before that. We would have been members
Oh, shit.
sooner.
Oh,
The
damn.
drive from Fort Collins wasn't worth the membership fee.
Oh my God. Did you guys like,
So when we moved down here,
Yes.
yeah, we
because
immediately
he got
became.
transferred for work. So when we moved down here, we
Hell yeah.
were like, okay, this is going to be a thing. Like, this is where we're going to go to get away from the kids.
Yeah.
right? Oh my God.
So kids, that's a good segue. So how do you navigate real life? How do you guys deal with? Do you have children, Leia?
No, I do not.
Okay, and you guys have 5.
Well, I do count their children as my children. So
Okay,
yeah.
so you do feel like you feel that almost stepmom type role.
Correct.
Okay.
And do they get along with you?
Yes, actually, get home. I'm super close to their daughter. So it's like an everyday thing. She goes, "Why are you guys taking my source of entertainment?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry." I was like, "I'll be back, I promise." But that's the thing. That was a thing that was talked about because of their prior relationship. And for me,
yes.
And for me, I would never discipline your children ever.
Yeah, you definitely don't seem like you step on people's toes or anything.
No.
You know,
I would if you're gonna discipline them in front of me. That's you. That you need to show that respect to your partner so that they know, especially the kids, that this is real. And I don't like stepping on that. Yeah. That's a line I don't like crossing.
It works out great, actually. We've been very open with our kids from the get-go.
And so they know you guys, like, you talk about your open relationship and all this other stuff.
Surprising.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Thank you. All parents should do that.
How old are your kids?
So my oldest one is 20.
Okay.
He's going to be 21 this year.
Okay.
And then I have a 19-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 9-year-old girl.
Okay.
And what works out is that, I used to have 3 of them living in the house. And then one decided to move back with his mom.
Okay.
But they've always known. Like, we've always been upfront with them. I almost messed up on that one. I'm sorry about that. She actually understands that, Dad has a wife and a girlfriend. And she's been totally okay with that because they are best friends.
That's amazing.
It's so weird to see it, but it's a reality. She's such a beautiful little girl, and she's very open-minded. And it helps that her best friend's mom is actually in the same lifestyle.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which we had no idea.
Yeah, we had no idea.
At a party.
It's weird how that works because we're like, wait a minute. I know you.
We had birthday parties and we did not see this side of the party.
What's going on here? Come talk to me.
That's why you had that after party, huh?
What the fuck? That makes sense. Why didn't you invite me?
That's awesome.
So she sees it and she said, what's weird about it is that she's actually written about it.
Just thinking about that when you said it.
She wrote about it in one of her stories that she has to do for school.
Oh wow.
But she didn't tell us till after she presented it.
Of course. One of those.
It gets even better. So her teacher sends it to me, which I'm the parent in contact for the school, and she sends it to me to proofread it and make sure she's okay with it, that I'm okay with it. And I didn't see that email. So she read it out loud in class, and she was totally okay with it. Everybody's okay with it.
So at what age did you at what age did you start? How did you introduce the lifestyle to her or to any of the children?
We've always been open from the very beginning. We don't like labels. We don't like putting labels on stuff. Yeah. So, when we go visit cousins and this and that, we make sure that they understand, yes, this is mom, this is dad, so that they understand their dynamic is this.
Okay.
But, and I know that question's been asked a lot, how do you present it with kids if you decide to have kids? The way the internet is now and the access that kids have,
for sure,
it is much better to just be completely open and honest with them because one, if they see something and they're curious about it, they're going to go Google it. And you don't want them to get the wrong information. But two, you want them to be able to trust to come and talk to you about things because I didn't have that growing up. You did not talk about sex. You did not talk about what you want to look at and that's wrong and any of that. And so it did take me a lot longer to feel comfortable with my body and to feel comfortable talking to the opposite sex and all of that because of how I was raised. But I don't want my children to have that same stereotype of, oh, I'm being judged or, oh, this or, oh, I have to watch what I say because they'll misinterpret me. We would prefer them to not Google it on their own and to have a straight up conversation with us.
Right.
And then we can explain to them.
Which is awesome too, because, and especially this younger, the generation, because they are so open to it, and everything's, cool. Oh, you're trans or whatever,
now,
Right.
Yeah. The biggest thing right now
to be open.
Is mental health. When I went to school, we didn't talk about mental health.
Right.
We didn't talk about bullies. We didn't talk about, spamming people with insults. Like, that just wasn't a thing. But now it is. And so I don't want my children to be bullied or to bully because they are misunderstanding somebody else that cannot communicate what they're feeling or how they're reacting to a situation. And way too many children, are, well, I don't know. Am I gay? Am I straight? Am I bisexual? Am I trans? Am I this? I was born a girl, but I feel like a boy and I want to hang out with the boys. But there's so much judgment and stereotype around those that we just wanted to rip off the Band-Aid and be like, hey, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm your mom and your dad, and we have girlfriends and we invite people over, and sometimes we go out. Like, it is what it is.
The biggest success to that is her firstborn, and I fathered him since he was 5, 6, and he's now 19.
Hell yeah!
And he was an honor student in school.
Shout out!
And he did everything right in school. And at the end of the day, he's still 19. Now, mind you, he lives with us, but it's because he knows how the market goes and prices and stuff like that. To him, he's like, I'm just gonna live with you, and we're gonna buy a big old house, and I'm just gonna rent the basement and call it a day.
Oh my God, he sounds like one of our kids.
But him and I
push the limit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna push the limit until they kick me out. That's
how he is. He's the funniest kid ever. But at his age, he has his head on so straight, and he's not going out, and he's still, for lack of better words, he has his V card, and he's holding on to it, not because he can't go out and find something. It's something that he's treasuring for the moment. And he wants to make sure it's right for him. And so when it comes to the whole sexual experience and everything, he's very well versed. It's just that he's choosing to be this way, and that's beautiful to me because that's his mental health to me. And I tell him things that I do, and what he knows what's going on, and he's not oblivious to anything, but he's also very respectful to it. And I told him, I said, in the future, if this is for you, great. If it's not, it's okay too.
That's right.
Be yourself.
That's how we do it.
That we told our kids that too, and all 5 of the boys were like, oh, okay. Fun, the middle one started just giggling uncontrollably. He was just like, so you guys do what?
He thinks we're the coolest parents ever. He really does. Dude. He's like, okay, my dad plays video games and he's very good at it. And I play with him sometimes. And then he goes out and he has fun, and they do all kinds of stuff too. He loves it. He kind of lives vicariously through me at times. And I just want to, like I've always told him, and my middle child too, he recently did a huge thing for me. And, he was battling some things and finding himself out. And he finally did find out. And I told him, I said, I don't care what you do, as long as you're safe.
Yep.
And, you're making decisions for the better of your future. That's all that matters to me.
That's right, huh?
We're
always going to love you.
Yeah, regardless. I mean, you're my son. It is what it is.
Right.
So,
and just because we're like this doesn't mean you have to be like this. That's perfectly fine. If you find somebody that you just want to be monogamous for the rest of your life, congratulations.
Do it. As long as they treat you well,
if you
and
never
you're
want
happy.
to get married, and you just, that's just the way that congratulations. Like, whatever is going to make you happy.
Yeah. And I feel like for the longest he was battling because he sees dad. He's like, okay, dad's got a girlfriend and he's got a wife, and he goes out to the club and he's still going out and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I have to be like dad, but I don't want to be like dad because I don't like the same things as dad. And I think he battled that for the longest, but at the end of the day, what it boils down to is I love him regardless.
Right.
I told him, I just want you to be safe and have a great future. Do whatever is right for you.
Just be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You can't be honest with
Just have
people if
fun.
you're not honest with yourself.
And you're like, hey, well, dude, you're part of dad. Just accept that shit. Come on now. Go do you.
Yeah, have fun. Go have your fun.
Continued in part 2.